Greenhouse management. Growers will learn how to water, fertilize, and maintain healthy conditions to grow seedlings in a greenhouse. By Terry Allen, Cecilia Lapp Stoltzfus, and Zoe Orr, IRC, Charlottesville. Why learn about this? Growing your own seedlings is a great way to save money and extend the growing season. You will need to care for your seedlings every day for many weeks in a greenhouse. These simple tips will help you grow healthy seedlings for the success of your farm business. A farmer planting seeds in a greenhouse. Vocabulary: greenhouse, a structure with a clear glass or plastic covering for growing plants. Fahrenheit, the scale used to measure temperature in the United States. In Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32 degrees. Frost-sensitive plants will freeze and die below 32 degrees. In Celsius, water and frost-sensitive plants freeze at 0 degrees. Germinate, when a new plant cracks open its seed casing and sends out roots and shoots to grow, also known as sprouting. Sprout, when a new plant germinates, or a small new seedling. Thermometer with Celsius and Fahrenheit scales. Seedling, a new small plant during the first few weeks of its life. Transplant, planting a seedling into the garden or field. Harden off, leaving greenhouse-grown seedlings outside to adjust to outdoor weather before transplant. Transplant shock, when a seedling shows signs of stress from root damage or the sudden change in weather conditions after transplanting. 2-day-old cucumber seedling. When your seeds sprout, you need to grow them in the greenhouse for 4 to 6 weeks to reach transplanting size. When the seedlings are ready, check the weather and wait to transplant them until danger of frost has passed. See other series on starting seeds indoors to learn more about which crops to start in a greenhouse and how to start them. Young plants sprouting from seed in a cell tray. In a greenhouse, you can give your seedlings the water, food, light, and best temperatures to grow. A greenhouse is a closed environment. You can control the temperature and water. You need to check the greenhouse at least once a day. View inside a greenhouse full of seedlings. The natural light coming through the greenhouse covering is usually enough to grow healthy plants. In a greenhouse, the light comes from above and all around. This helps the plants stay compact and grow straight up. Cabbage seedlings growing in natural light in a greenhouse. When the light comes from one direction, like in a window, the seedlings will stretch toward the light. The stems will be thin and weak, and the plants will fall over. When seedlings stretch toward the light and get leggy, they need more light. Leggy seedlings growing by a window. You can use grow lights to keep your seedlings compact. Grow lights use special bulbs that provide the full spectrum of light like the sun. Regular household bulbs do not work for growing plants. If you don't have a greenhouse, you can set up grow lights inside to grow plants. Seedlings growing under full spectrum fluorescent lights. Even in a greenhouse, grow lights give extra light during cloudy spring days. The extra light speeds up growth. Hang the lights 12 to 18 inches above the plants. Many types of full spectrum lights are available, including energy efficient, fluorescent, and LED. Find grow lights online or at a hydroponics shop. Seedlings growing under LED lights in a greenhouse. Seedlings need good drainage for healthy roots. Use greenhouse benches or tables that allow water to drain. Keep seedlings off the ground to avoid pests like slugs and snails. Greenhouse tables are designed to allow water to drain. Water gently to keep seedlings evenly moist. Use an adjustable hose nozzle. Select a spray pattern and reduce the pressure so that the water comes out like a gentle rain. Let the soil dry out a little before watering again. Water more often if it is hot and sunny. Water seedlings gently to keep them evenly moist. How do you know when to water? You can feel how wet the soil is by lifting the tray. If the tray is heavy, it is wet. The plants do not need more water yet. If it feels light, it is dry. It is time to water again. Be sure to water all parts of the tray evenly. Pay attention to the corners and edges because they dry out first. Lift seedling trays to tell if they are heavy and wet or light and dry. If your plants are wilting, they are too dry and need water. Seedlings right next to the greenhouse plastic will dry out first. They wilt before the rest of the plants in the tray. The plants will recover and perk up again if you water them in time. Try to water before the plants wilt to reduce stress. Plants also wilt if they have some fungal diseases. If the soil is wet and the plants are wilting, check for disease. Plants wilt when they need water. Too much water in a heavy soil mix can lead to damping off, a fungal disease that turns the stem brown and kills the seedlings. Use a soil mix made with peat moss or coconut coir to prevent dampening off. The fungus does not like the acidic pH of these mixes. Damping off fungus turns the stem brown at the soil level. Overwatering can lead to other diseases and slow root growth. A crust of green algae growing on the soil surface is another sign that the soil is too wet. Let the soil dry out on the surface before watering again to avoid this problem. Green algae growing on the soil surface. Larger pot sizes need more water less often than a small cell tray. The soil surface may be dry, but have enough water deeper where the roots are growing. Use your finger to feel if the soil is wet below the surface. Water again when the soil in the root zone is about half dry. After watering, check the soil with your finger again to make sure enough water got to the roots. Feel the soil with your finger to see if it is wet or dry in the root zone. Put trays of the same cell or pot size together to water correctly. Small cell sizes need water more often than larger pots. Larger pots need water less often than small cell trays. They need more water each time to reach the root zone. With practice, you will learn how to keep the water properly balanced for healthy plants. Group trays by pot size for easy watering. After 3 weeks, the seedlings will need fertilizer when you water them. Yellow leaves are a sign that the plants need fertilizer. Try to start fertilizing before the plants turn yellow to reduce plant stress. Fertilize plants before the leaves turn yellow. Organic farmers use fish and kelp liquid fertilizers to feed their seedlings. Fish emulsion provides nitrogen for leaf growth. Kelp supports strong roots and flowers. Most fertilizer labels show mixing directions for full-grown plants, which is too strong for small seedlings. Mix fertilizer with water at 1/3 the rate shown on the label for full-grown plants. Use a watering can to feed the seedlings with fertilizer once a week until transplant time. Too much fertilizer can hurt the plants and is a waste of money. Measure fertilizer to feed your seedlings. When are the seedlings ready to transplant? After 4 to 6 weeks, check the roots. If the roots have filled out the cell and hold the soil together in a plug, they are ready to transplant. If there are too few or too many roots, the seedling will struggle when planted outside. 3 seedlings showing the best root development for transplanting. These root balls are too loose. There are not enough roots to hold the soil together. These seedlings are not ready. More roots need to grow before these seedlings are ready to transplant. These seedlings have enough roots to hold the soil plug together. These seedlings are ready to transplant. These roots are well developed and ready for transplanting. This seedling is root bound. It has been growing in a small cell tray too long. The roots are crowded and are growing around in circles. The roots do not have enough room to grow. You can still plant this seedling, but it might grow slowly or badly. Gently break apart the roots at the bottom of the plug. Direct the roots outward to help this seedling grow well. A root-bound seedling may not grow well. When your seedlings are ready to transplant, put them outside to harden off for 3 days. The plants need to get used to stronger outdoor sun and wind when you move them from protected greenhouse environment to the field. Be sure that there is no danger of frost and that the weather will be mild. Choose an outdoor location that is protected from strong wind and weather. Water the seedlings every day. This process makes your seedlings strong to resist transplant shock and start growing fast when planted outside. Seedling trays set outside to harden off. Your seedlings are ready to transplant. See our additional series on transplanting for next steps. Seedling trays loaded on a trailer to go to the field for transplanting. Comprehension questions. 1. How long will you leave your seedlings in the greenhouse? 2. How can you tell if the seedlings aren't getting enough light? 3. How do you know when the seedlings are ready to transplant? Acknowledgements. Funded by the Office for Partnerships and Public Engagement at the USDA. Text and photos by the International Rescue Committee in Charlottesville, Virginia. Edited and produced by ISED Solutions. Protected by Creative Commons license.